So today we will be going on to a new topic called referential integrity. Okay. Now, before we learn what is referential integrity, we will have to learn about a concept called foreign key. I suppose you have already learned it in your theory. What do you mean by a foreign key? Now we will be seeing the practical implementation of having a foreign key in your tables. Okay. Now look here. I've got three tables over here. I'll just talk about two tables. I'll talk about a table called products, where I have product ID as the primary key, and I even have customer ID, which is the primary key in customers. So what I'll be doing is I'll first create a table called products, which all of you have already done. Okay. So PID, product ID is a primary key. Then I have product name, which is a varchar, and product price. I've given 5,2 because you might be having prices like 34.45, 34 rupee 45 paise. So for that decimal value, I've given a comma 2. So I'll just copy this. I'm creating a table called products. I'll paste it over here. Okay, I've created a table called products. And we even have another table called customers, where customer ID is the primary key. Okay, so I'll even create this table, customers table. This also you have done, but I'm just doing it now. I've even created a customers table. Okay, these are completely independent tables. I have a products table with primary key product ID and a customers table with primary key customer ID. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just enter a few data into my product table. Let's quickly do it. Okay, I've entered one row. I'm entering a second row. I'm entering a second row, and I am even entering a third row. You might notice I do have decimal points over here, but that isn't a problem because I gave you 5,2. So I've entered three details into my products table. Similarly, I'll just enter some tables into my customer table also. Okay, I entered one detail. I entered Akbar detail. Yeah, Akbar has gone into my table, and I even have an Anthony into my table. Okay, now I'll just see all things in my table. Select star from, I have a products table. I have a products table, and I even have a customers table. Okay, I've got three details in my products table, and I've even got three details in my customers table. Okay, now look here. I do have an intermediate table over here called orders. Orders. Now here, order ID is a primary key. Orders table, order ID is a primary key. But I do have even a table called products over here. I even do have a table called customers over here. Now what I want is, okay, forget about customers. Just let us look into the leftmost part. Let us look into the left part. I need to have a connection between product and orders. I need to have a connection between product and orders. Now, when you think in a simple layman's term, you can make an order only for a product which is available. Yes or no? You can, am I making sense? You can make an order only for a product which is available. Isn't it, Devika? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
You can make a order only for a product which is available. You can make the connection between product and orders only with the help of a primary key. Now, in this table, I have a primary key called product ID. Okay. Now, the same product ID, it can be the foreign key over here. Only the primary key via only the linking will happen. You can link two tables only with the help of the primary key of another table. You cannot link product and orders with name. You cannot do it. You cannot link it with price simply because they are not the primary key. The linking over here can happen only with the product ID because product ID is the primary key. Let's see how you write it with the help of a query. Okay. Now I'm going to create a new table called orders. Forget about the last row. You have a last row over here. Forget about that. Okay. We'll just go very basic. We will just have the first three rows over here. So I'll create it here itself so that, you can see the table while we are creating. So now I'm going to create a table which is linked to another table. So I'll write create. The query is the same. Create table. What is my table name? My table name is orders. Okay. And now I'm going to have a few fields over here. Creation is the same. Only thing is you will have an extra line. Okay. So what is the first thing? First, we do have order ID. I'll just go simple. OID. It is an int. So I'll have a number 5. They're telling it is the primary key. So, I will have it as the primary key. Order ID is the primary key. Forget about the second field. We'll go simple. We'll go for the third field. Third field, they're having quantity. They're telling it is an integer. In MySQL, in SQL, we have it as a number instead of integer. So I'll give a number of 5. Okay. So I'm done with my first field. I've even done with my third field. Now I'm going for the important field. They're telling linking can happen. As you all know, you can link it with this table only with the product ID because product ID is primary key over here. So, I'll give PID. I'll give the name P underscore ID. Now, to link, first you have to give the data type, just like, any other thing. Number, let's say 5. Okay. Now look here. You are linking it with which table? With the products table. So see that PID and the data type is of the same type. Like, you can imagine you give a varchar over here. You are planning to link it with this particular PID in the product table, product ID, product table, product ID. If you give a varchar over here, or be it whatever, varchar or varchar2, you will get an error. So to be on the safer side and to avoid errors, what you can do is have the same data type. Have the same data type over here. Name is fine, but again, I tell you, follow the same name, PID, number 20. Okay, have the same thing. Now we'll do the linking. To do the linking, you have a keyword called references. References is a keyword. Which table are you planning to link? You are planning to link a table called products. So I'll have products over here. Okay. And which field are you planning to link? You are planning to link the field called product ID. So with this particular query, you have created a table with a foreign key. This is the line where we did the linking. In orders, we do have a product ID. The data type, it should be the same data type you have given over here. References, which table? My products table. The table name should be exactly the same. And in products table, which field? PID. So with that, you have done the linking. I'll paste it in my SQL plus. Okay. I have now created a table. I have now created a table which has linking. Now let's see how to enter stuff into the table. So, I'll write my insert queries over here. Now let's insert things into the table. insert into orders. Insert into orders. I'll just delete this off, not these. Instead, you have a number. Okay, you have three numbers. You're on the safe side. You have three numbers. Order ID, I will give, let's say, 56. Now, look here. You can, because you have linked it, you can give values only which you have already entered in your products table. Okay, so I'll do one thing. I'll write my query directly over there. I'll take my SQL plus. Okay, now look here. You have linked your products table. The second field is my product ID. I can enter values which I have given here only. So, I'll give my first value as 1. I have a value 1. The third one is quantity. I'll just give a random quantity, 234. I'll hit an enter. I have entered a value. Now look here. I'm entering the next value. I'm entering a value called 57. For PID, I'm giving a value called 78. And quantity, I'll just give a random number, 908. Okay, they're telling me integrity constraint is violated because product ID, I do not have a value called 78 over here. I can enter only 1, 2, and 3. I do not have a value called 78. Just to make my screen a bit more bigger. Okay. In my products table, I do not have a value called 78. So that is why I'm getting an error. Integrity constraint, parent key not found. These are my parent keys. This is my parent table, the table which you create first. The table which has only primary key, you call it the parent table. And this are my parent keys. I do not have a corresponding parent key over here. I do not have a corresponding 78. I do only have 1, 2, 3. So I can be entering only values 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll enter 2. There's no problem. Okay, let's say I enter 3. Manu, tell me, will I have a problem over here? If I enter 3, will I have a problem over here? Yes or no? Manu, tell me, will I have a problem in this particular query? Insert into orders values 573908. Okay, so hope you understood. Here I'm getting an error because I violated the primary key. This is primary key of this particular table. Okay, now this 3 I can enter any times, any number of times. There's no problem. Okay, I'll show you my table. Select star from orders. Okay, this is my primary key, order ID. I have only one time each order, 57, 56, 57, 58, 59. But look here, 3 has repeated over here. It is not the primary key anymore over here. It is the foreign key. It is the foreign key. But in this table, you cannot have 3 repeating. The parent table, you cannot have 3 repeating. But in this particular table, the child table, you can have the foreign key repeating, but never the primary key. Okay? Try entering a record which is not there in your parent table. And even try entering duplicates. Okay, like I've entered over here. Like I've entered over here, 3, 3. I've entered duplicates over here. Try entering duplicates. Try entering a record which is not there in your parent table. We have created a linking between your orders table and your products table. Only the things which are there in the product table, you can order. But now look here, you have even got another linking. Like, you will be having a list of customers. Think about your Flipkart. Like only if you are a login logged in registered user, you can place an order. Okay. So, only customers which are existing in your customers table can place an order. Okay. So you have to link. Now look here again. The linking is happening through the customer ID. Why is the linking happening through the customer ID? Simply because it can happen only through the customer ID, because customer ID is the primary key. You cannot link it through first name, because first name is not a primary key. You cannot link it through last name, because last name is not a primary key. Only customer ID is the primary key over here. So the linking happens between orders and customer through the primary key customer ID of customers table. When the customer ID comes over here in this table, you will call it a foreign key. Now let's see how to link these two tables. Now look here, you already finished creating the table. Now you could have done it over here itself. Like, when you were creating the table itself, you could have done it over here by doing it like this. Okay. Instead of PID, I would have written CID. The data type should be the same. So in my customer number 20, yeah, number 20 references, it is not referencing the products table. It is referencing the customers table. Customers, and which key is it? Customers CID. Control C, Control V. Okay. You could have done it like this when you were creating the table. But, unfortunately, we already finished creating the table. We already entered data into the table. And that is when we noticed you had to link one more, which means you have now to alter the structure of your table. Hope you remember the alter table command. Okay. Now let us alter the structure of a table. Okay. We wanted one more referencing over here. You want one more referencing over here. So I'll write the command for that. Alter table. You're altering the table. Which table are you altering? I am altering my orders table. Okay, I'm going to add in a new attribute over there, customer ID, and I need this connection to happen. Alter table orders. You are not simply going to add a column. You are going to add a foreign key. Okay, all these are keywords. Orders is not a keyword. Okay, I'll write the syntax first and then I'll write the query. Table name, add foreign key, parent key, references, table name, attribute name. Okay. So this is how you do it. Don't worry, I'll write it down over here. Okay. So we are going to alter which table? Alter table orders, add foreign key. Okay. Which key are you, what is the name of the key which you're going to give? The new key name is customer ID. Okay. So I'm creating a new key called customer ID. Okay. References. The same thing. References. I'll have the data type also. Control C. Control V. Number 20. References. Which table are you planning to reference? You are planning to reference the customers table. Okay, you're planning to reference the customers table. Which field in the customers table? The customer ID field. Okay, so this is how you do it. I'm altering the table. I'm adding a new foreign key. I'll just copy this. I'll paste it over there. Okay. Add foreign key. Add foreign key. CID. References. My customers table. Customers table. C underscore ID. I'll copy my query. I'll paste it over there. Okay, I pasted it. Now my table is altered. Now my table is altered. Now, if you look into the desk of orders, you will have one more field. Okay, CID, which I newly added. CID, which I newly added. Okay, earlier it just had OID, PID, and quantity. Now I do have CID. Let's do something else. Select star from orders. Okay, look here, a new column has been added, but of course it does have nothing because earlier I just had all these data over here. Okay, now let's enter some things. So before entering, we need to know what is there in the other two tables. Okay, so I'll clear my screen. I'll clear my screen. You should have all these table designs in your mind. Then only you will be able to enter stuff into your table. Select star from products. Okay. Select star from customers. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert into my orders table. Insert into orders, values. Okay. Order. So orders, you have 4 field, right? Orders, where is my orders table? Okay, number, and the last one, everything is number. So you'll have to remember order ID, PID, quantity, customer ID. So order ID. Okay, order ID can be anything. So I give 23, comma. The second field is what? Product ID. The second field is product ID, which I can enter only 1, 2, or 3. I'll go for 2. I'll go for 2. The next field, the third field is what? Quantity. Quantity has no linking anywhere. So I can give any number. Okay. Quantity. And the last one which I added is CID. CID means I can only enter 77, 88, or 99. Let's say I entered 99. I'm ending it up. One row created. Okay, let's do some mischief. Of course, 23 you will not be able to enter again because 23 is the primary key over there. I'll enter 27. Instead of 99, I am going to give 22. Instead of 99, I'm going to give, okay, I've entered select star from orders. Look here. These are the things which I now created. 99, 99, it can repeat just as 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, and 2 repeated. This is the primary key. OID is the primary key. Product ID can take values only from your 1, 2, and 3. Customer ID, it can take values only from your customers table 77, 88, and 99. Now you might be wondering, what do you mean by the term referential integrity? You call it referential integrity because you are referencing another table. In orders table, you are referencing 2 tables. In fact, you are referencing the product table and you are even referencing the customers table, and even the integrity constraints are met. So this concept where 2 or more tables are connected through primary keys is called as referential integrity. Or to be very simple, referential integrity is the concept where two or more tables are connected with the help of primary keys. Okay, I'll repeat altering again. I added the field, and then the field which I added, I made it a foreign key.